Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about language, a little diversion from what we've normally been doing, but we've looked at a number and I want to talk about it. So there are two types, and we've mainly looked at smart contracts. And another area we can go into a little bit is blockchain, but most part we've looked at smart contracts. And of course, Solidity is very important because it's used in Ethereum, which is one of the most popular smart contract chains. You can also use Solang to convert it to for WASM-based chains like Polkadot. Rust is the Polkadot language. It also can be used as an option for Dfinity, and it's also the language for Solana. One of the two. The other option, of course, is C++, which I have next. I'm going to skip over Python for a moment, but let's talk about Ink. Ink, of course, is exclusive to Polkadot. It's written above Rust to make it a little easier to program for the Polkadot blockchain. And Mataco, of course, is unique to Dfinity. Again, easier to program in than Rust. And we've looked at those. Now, Python's an interesting language. We really haven't looked at it in terms of smart contracts, but you can see it can be used to Ethereum. It can be used for Algorand. And as you see below, it's one of the languages, if you say, I want to build a blockchain, and Google that, there'll be a number of examples of that on there. But it's a very interesting language, especially as a first language, because Python is used all the way from programming hardware, your Arduinos and things of that nature, Circuit Python from Adafruit, and so on, all the way to data science and everything in between. So if you know Python, there's a lot you can do. And of course, the principles carry over to other languages, like some of the principles carry on to C++ and Rust and Java. And I believe, and I left Java out, it's not very commonly used for smart contracts, but I believe there may be one project that's using Java. Again, a great general language to know. Very popular for web backends. Rust, again, is a little, and C++ is a little more challenging languages to learn and to work with, but they are great general languages. Again, C++ is used quite a bit everywhere. And the other types of languages that we looked at, or that are out there, of course, we have to think about blockchain programming. Go, we've seen a lot when we're building blockchains. It's used to build a number of the blockchains. Polkadot is used, Polkadot is built in Rust. And again, I said Python. There are many examples of for learning blockchain. Finally, we have Node.js, and we've seen that all over the place, especially for your front end. It can also be used as a back end language, by the way, not so much in smart contracts, but in web type stuff. It's used. It can be used front and back end. So now the question is what to learn if you're just learning. There are pros and cons. I think Python is, as I said, is great because it is it's a language that can take you to do from all different levels of devices or types of programs. Solidity is easier to learn than some of the other languages, and again, very popular for Ethereum. Rust and C++, I said, more challenging, but Rust will certainly take you far in blockchain. For the smart contracts, for, and again, Polkadot, Solana, for actually building the Polkadot blockchain is in Rust. When you talk about Ink and Motako, they're much more limited, but they're useful for those specific chains. But if you know Rust, you don't need Motako. But you may just choose to use Motako because it can get the job done faster. So I personally think Python is a great first language to learn in general because of its the variety of uses it has, and it introduces you to those principles. Solidity is probably one of the best to learn for smart contracts because Ethereum is such a big player. And again, you can also, if you have Solidity smart contract, you can write it out to use Solang to run it on the Wasm-based chains like Polkadot. And like I said, Node.js, I think, is essential for anyone wanting to work on the blockchain. We've used it to set stuff up, to build things, you know, to do any of the front ends. So that's kind of my assessment. I know I didn't say, well, there's one definitive. I think definitely if you're getting into blockchain, get familiar with Node.js. If you want to build blockchains, I think Go is one of the things that you should definitely learn because so many blockchains are built in Go. Okay, so then what do I want? What do you want to learn? I think you definitely need to learn Node.js and be familiar with Node.js because we've used it practically on everywhere because it is like the front end lingua franca. So any of the front ends, we've used that. We've done a lot of stuff with Node.js. We've used that. We've used it all over the place. If you want to focus on smart contracts, what I'd say is I would focus on Solidity and Rust because those are two biggies. I think if you like, I'm a programming, I'm new to programming. I want to know a good language that I can do some blockchain stuff with, but it will give me a good general understanding. They'll make it easier for me to learn the rest. Python is excellent for that. And you still can write Ethereum smart contract. You can write for Algorand. I think if you want to build blockchains, Go and Rust are probably the two most important languages to know for that because so many are built in Go and Rust. And finally, Ink and Motako, and they're pretty, they're for particular blockchains. And I would learn, I mean, if you're going to work on those, on Polkadot or Dfinity, it may make your life easier to program in those languages because they're higher level than Rust, which is your other option for both of them. And that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully this has been helpful. Certainly ask questions. Now, I did not mention Java. That's not that popular in the blockchain world, but it is a good language to know because there is so much work available in Java. A lot of web stuff. I and I need to look in more into that. There are some examples of using Java in blockchain, but I haven't. I have to look more into that. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful, and thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.